Sorry, Bong, naiwan ko yung script.
50.
Thank you.
Ate ba yung direct? 50.
We have to note that
The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The camp of Manila Mayor Isko Moreno is pressing the government to collect the Marcos family's unpaid estate taxes. Let's get the details from Romel Lopez, who's joining us live from Manila. Romel, hi, good afternoon. How did Mayor Moreno's camp react to PDP Labans' endorsement of Marcos Jr.?
Yes, Sean, the camp of Mayor Isko Moreno did not let this endorsement pass by easily. We have to take note that your Miss Action Democratico Party has been very active and vocal in calling on the Marcoses to settle unpaid tax liabilities. In a press conference, Moreno's chief campaign strategist, former Ambassador Lito Banayo, appealed to PDP Laban officials to make sure that Marcos Jr. and his family will pay their unpaid estate taxes. Action Democratico Secretary General Ernest Ramel also called on Bongbong Marcos not to divert the issue. Ramel said that the unpaid state taxes is not fake news and that the Supreme Court made a ruling and it should be followed. Despite PDP Laban's endorsement, Banayo said that this does not mean that the President or President Duterte, who came from the same party, also endorses Marcos Jr. Banayo noted that President openly called Marcos Jr. as a weak leader. In an interview with Radyo 5, presidential candidate Isko Moreno said that if the government collects the Marcos family's estate taxes, then the country would have enough funds to help those in need. If he wins as president, Moreno vows to go after the unpaid taxes of the Marcoses and use it to help the poor. Sean, in the same interview, Moreno also warned voters that if Bongbong Marcos wins, it is likely that the 203 billion pesos worth of unpaid estate taxes will be no longer recovered. Sean?
All right, thank you so much for that update. Romel Lopez of News 5 reporting to us live from Manila. Thank you, Romel. In other news, the Health Department wants to have a fourth COVID-19 vaccine dose for high-risk groups. Let's get the details from Jen Calimon, who's reporting to us live from Malabon. Hi, Jen. Which specific groups will be the recipients of the so-called fourth vaccine dose, and how is this different from booster shots?
Sean, the vaccine expert panel has recommended the inoculation of fourth dose to our senior citizens and persons with comorbidities. And yes, the DOH has submitted its application for the amendment of the emergency use authorization to the Food and Drug Administration. So we'll have to wait for the EUA amendment first, and then the DOH will then discuss the procedures of the administration of the fourth doses. Currently, Sean, the EUA of COVID-19 vaccines in the Philippines only allows the administration of the primary doses, which is the first and second dose, booster doses for the general population, and third shot for the elderly and immunocompromised who failed to gain sufficient immunity despite the primary vaccination. Sean?
All right, Jen, cases right now are still very low. What should we expect from vaccinations moving forward? Should we be expecting yearly or annual vaccinations instead of getting boosters every 6 months? Do authorities have a plan for this?
Mhm. Well, Sean, the yearly COVID-19 vaccination has long been discussed by the government, according to USEC Maria Rosario Vergere. But according to her, we have to wait for further studies on the necessity of having yearly COVID-19 vaccine to be given to the population in the coming years, hopefully.
All right. Are we still on track then for or to hit a COVID endemic state anytime soon? Jen, are there any indications that we are indeed headed in that direction?
Well, Son, according to DOH technical group, a technical advisory group member, Dr. Edsel Salvania, they are now seeing signs of endemicity of SARS-CoV-2 in the country. So these signs or indicators include high immunity coverage, manageable number of cases, and societal acceptance to the number of cases and deaths. However, Sean, it is the experts, especially the World Health Organization, who shall have the final say if the virus is now endemic in a particular country. Sean?
All right, and of course, it's still going full swing. I'm talking about the election campaign period. Jen, has the Department of Health seen any uptick in cases lately, especially in like vote-rich areas or in areas where we've seen big sorties, big rallies?
Well, fortunately, Sean, the DOH yet observed any upticks in any areas where sorties are happening as of now. But they must admit that huge participants or supporters in a political rally really concerns them. So again, Sean, they reminded the candidates and supporters to still follow the minimum public health standards during campaigns. As much as possible, only fully vaccinated individuals will be allowed to join a campaign, and also senior citizens and persons with comorbidities must refrain from joining such rallies to prevent the transmission of the virus. Sean?
All right, thank you so much for all those updates. Jen Calimon joining us live from Labans City. Thank you, Jen. We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Social Welfare Department says there is no timeline yet as to when the cash aid for the poorest households will be distributed. DSWD spokesperson Irene Dumlao says they are still waiting for official documents from the national government. But the agency is already preparing the 500 pesos in cash aid per month for 1 year. President Duterte has also tasked the Finance Department to look for funds. However, the DOF earlier said that the government can only afford 200 pesos for the poorest families.
Sa kasalukuyan, tayo po ay nakikipag-ugnayan sa Department of Finance hinggil dito. At habang inaantay nga po natin ang opisyal na kasulatan, pinaghahandaan na rin po ng DSWD yung ating internal guidelines hinggil sa financial assistance upang matiyak po na magiging maayos at mabilis yung ating pamamahagi ng tulong.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Cusi faction of ruling party PDP Laban has formally endorsed Bongbong Marcos Jr. for president. The group says that Marcos Jr.'s platforms are very much aligned with the programs that were started by President Duterte. And President Duterte has signed Republic Act 11674 into law that allows full foreign ownership in more public services. These include telecommunications, domestic shipping, railways and subways, as well as expressways and airports. COMELEC Commissioner George Garcia says that the poll body will form a task force against vote buying. This is after Cavite Governor John Vic Remulla was seen distributing cash at a campaign sortie of running mates Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.